fifth book in the Magic Treehouse series. And so far we have learned that there are two kids, Jack and Annie, who have a treehouse in Pennsylvania, and the treehouse is full of books. And whenever they open a book and they wish to go there, the magic in the treehouse transports them to wherever that book is, wherever the book takes place. And so in this story, they go into the treehouse and they're actually looking for the owner of the treehouse, whose name is Morgan Le Fay, and she's missing. And so when they go into the treehouse, they find a book that has pictures of ninjas next to a note that was written by Morgan Le Fay, who's asking for help. So they go back in time, Jack and Annie go back in time to where there's ninjas, and so the ninjas come into the treehouse and they're taking them into a secret cave where there is a ninja master. And they're hoping that the ninja master can help them find Morgan Le Fay. So today we're going to be reading 3 chapters. We're going to read chapters 6, 7, and 8, and hopefully we will find out if the ninjas know where Morgan is. So let's read together. Chapter 6, Shadow Warrior. Jack and Annie went into the cave. They followed the ninja through the darkness. The back of the cave was lit with dozens of candles. Shadows danced on the walls. In the flickering light, Jack saw a dark figure sitting on a woven mat. The ninja master. The ninja bowed to the master. Then he stepped to one side. The master stared at Jack and Annie. "Sit," he said. Jack and Annie sat on a cold, hard floor. Squeak! The mouse poked its head out of Annie's pouch. "It's okay, Peanut," said Annie. The master stared at the mouse for a moment. Then he looked at Jack. "Who are you?" he asked. "I'm Jack, and that's my sister Annie," Jack answered. Look, picture of the secret cave where the master ninja is. "Where do you come from?" the master asked. "Frog Creek, Pennsylvania," Annie said. "Why are you here?" he asked. "We're trying to help our friend Morgan Le Fay," said Jack. "She left us a message." Annie pointed to the short ninja. "We gave the message to him." "You mean you gave the message to her," said the ninja master. "And she has given it to me." "She?" said Jack and Annie together. The woman's eyes sparkled. Jack thought she might be smiling. Master held up Morgan's note. "Perhaps I can help you," he said. "But first you must prove yourselves worthy of my help." Just then the tall ninja appeared. He made a sign to the master. Master stood up. He handed Morgan's note to Annie. "We must go now. The samurai are close." "Samurai?" said Jack. He knew that the samurai were fierce Japanese fighters. "Were they the ones in the valley?" Jack asked. "The ones with the torches?" "Yes. Our family is at war with them," said the master. "We must leave before they find us." "But what about helping Morgan?" said Annie. Master strapped on his sword. "I have no time now," he said. "I must go." "Can't we go with you?" said Annie. "No, there is no place for you, where we are going. You must find your way back to your house in the trees." "Alone?" said Jack. "Yes, you must go alone, and beware of the samurai." "Why?" said Jack. "They will think you are one of us," the master. "Then they will ask you no questions. They will show you no mercy." "Yikes," whispered Annie. "But you have seen the way of the ninja. You can practice it yourselves now," said the master. "How?" said Jack. "Remember 3 things," said the master. "What?" said Jack. "Use nature, be nature, follow nature." "I can do that," Annie said. Jack looked at her. "You can?" he said. The master turned to Jack. "Your treehouse lies to the east. That is the way you must go," he said. "How?" wondered Jack. "How do you find the east?" Before you could ask, the master bowed. Then he disappeared into the shadows. The 2 ninjas led Jack and Annie out of the cave into the moonlight. The tall one pointed at the pine forest. Then they too disappeared into the darkness. Jack and Annie were all alone. Oh no. Chapter 7, To the East. Jack and Annie stood still for a long time. Annie spoke first. "Well, I guess the tall ninja was pointing to the east. I guess it's the way we go. Wait, said Jack, I need to write some stuff down. He took out his notebook. In the moonlight, he wrote, use nature, be nature, follow nature. Look, Jack, whispered Annie. Do I look like a ninja? He looked at her. She had pulled her sweatshirt hood over her head and tied the strings tightly. She did look like a ninja, a very small one. Good idea, Jack whispered. He pulled his hood up too. Okay, let's go, said Annie. Jack put his notebook away. Then he and Annie headed east into the woods. They slipped between trees and more trees and more trees. All the trees looked the same. Jack got confused. Were they still going in the right direction? Wait, he said. Annie stopped. They both stared at the woods around them. Do you think we're still going east? Asked Jack. I guess so, said Annie. We can't just guess. We have to know for sure. How do we do that? Said Annie. We don't have a compass. Just then the master's words came back to Jack. The ninja master said to use nature, he said. How do I do that? Said Annie. Wait, I remember something. Jack closed his eyes. He remembered something in a camping book. What was it? He opened his eyes. I've got it. First, we need a stick, he said. Annie picked up a stick. Here, she said. Great. Now we just need a space with moonlight, said Jack. There. They moved into a moonlit space between the shadows. Now push the stick into the ground, Jack said. Annie pushed the stick into the ground. The stick's shadow looks like it's more than 6 inches. What do you think? It looks like it, said Annie. Okay, then that means the shadow's pointing east. Neat, said Annie. So that way is east. Jack pointed to a new direction. At least I hope it is. We're real ninjas now, said Annie. Yep, said Jack. Maybe we are. Come on. They took off heading east. They hoped. Soon they were out of the pine woods and walking down the rocky mountainside. They moved slowly from rock to rock. Finally, they rested against a giant rock. Let's check our direction again, said Jack. Annie stuck another stick in the dirt. There, he said. He pointed to the shadow on the ground. That way. Annie peeked over the rock down the mountain. Yikes, she said softly. Jack looked too. His heart nearly stopped. There were flames of fire coming up from the mountain. The samurai. Jack and Annie ducked behind the rock. Squeak, said the mouse. Quiet, Peanut, said Annie. Jack reached into his pack. He pulled out the ninja book. I hope something in here can help us, he said. Jack flipped through page after page until he found what he was looking for. It was a picture of warriors wearing a bamboo armor. They were holding swords. He read, the samurai were fierce Japanese fighters. They carried 2 swords to cut down their enemies. Annie tapped Jack on the shoulder. Jack looked at her. She pointed up the mountain. A figure was coming down toward them. He was very near. In the moonlight, his bamboo armor was shining. His 2 swords were gleaming. It was a samurai warrior. Oh no, look. Look at that. Look at all that armor. You have his 2 swords. He is very terrifying. Chapter 8, Dragon Water. Jack and Annie crouched together. Samurai were on both sides of them now. They were trapped. Jack pressed against the rock. The warrior stepped closer and closer. He looked to the right. He looked to the left. Jack held his breath. Be nature, whispered Annie. What? Jack whispered back. Be nature. Be a rock. Oh, brother, thought Jack. This was nuts. But he squeezed his eyes shut. Then he tried to be part of the rock. Jack tried to be as still as the rock, as solid as the rock, as quiet as the rock. Soon he started feeling as strong as the rock, as safe as the rock. He wanted to be the rock forever. Squeak! He's gone, said Annie. They're all gone. Jack opened his eyes. The samurai warrior was gone. Jack stood up and looked over the rock. The torches were gone too. Let's go, Annie said. Jack took a deep breath. He felt great. He was getting more and more more like a ninja every minute. Maybe even like a ninja master. East, he said. And they went east, down the mountain between the rocks until they came to the wide, icy stream. The water seemed even wilder than before. I don't see the treehouse, said Annie. Aunt Jack looked across the stream to the dark grove of trees. Moonlight shone on their pale flowers. But where was the treehouse? I don't see it either, said Jack. We have to cross the water first, then we'll try to find it. The water was crashing and rushing over the rocks. Squeak! The mouse peeked out from his pouch. Don't be afraid, Annie said. She patted the mouse's head. Be like us. Be like a ninja too. Let's go, Jack said. He took a deep breath and stepped into the stream. The icy water swirled up to his knees. The current knocked him over. Jack grabbed some weeds. He held on tight as the water swirled around him. He was freezing to death. Jack, Annie cried. Annie grabbed Jack's arms. She helped him back onto the bank. That was close, said Annie. Jack wiped his glasses. Luckily, they hadn't fallen off in the water. Are you okay? Said Annie. Not really, said Jack, his teeth chattering. He was chilled to the bone. We'll never get across, said Annie. We'll drown if we try. Or freeze to death, said Jack. He pulled off the hood of his sweatshirt. He didn't feel much like a ninja anymore. Annie pulled off her hood too. She sighed. What can we do? Squeak! Peanut climbed out of Annie's sweatshirt pouch and leaped onto the ground. The mouse scampered away. Peanut, come back! Annie called. No, said Jack. We have to follow Peanut. Why? Asked Annie. We have to do what the master said Jack. Follow nature. Oh, right, said Annie. Follow Peanut. But where is Peanut? In the moonlight, Jack saw the little mouse. It was running through the grass along the stream. There, he cried. Come on. Annie hurried after Jack. Jack hurried after Peanut. They ran beside the rushing waters. A moonlit branch had fallen across a narrow part of the stream. It touched both shores. The mouse was running over the branch. Peanut's going over a bridge, said Annie. She started to follow. Wait, cried Jack. We can't go on that branch. It's too small. It'll break. And that is where we will leave it today. Will Annie and Jack make it across the river? Will they get back home to Pennsylvania? I don't know. I guess you'll have to come back next week and we'll have the last two chapters together. But today, for our special activity, is going to be a scavenger hunt. So, if you get on our library website with this video, there is a scavenger hunt that with all kinds of activities where you have to be nature and follow nature. And the last one that I can't remember what it is now, but there are all kinds of activities on there for you to do. And don't forget to make sure if you're participating to log and watch this video as points and as minutes for your read logs. Bye, have a good day.